Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. And do you mind? Can you not see I'm recording my intro here? And today I want to talk about my initial impressions for the Sword and Shield. You guys know Sword and Shield is my favourite weapon. I love this thing, and at least playing through the story I was using exclusively Sword and Shield. I am of course someone that does dabble in all the weapons, and now that I've sort of completed the game I'm going around and crafting different weapons, but I want to take a few moments today to talk about my impressions, talk about some of the new Silkbind moves, and just in general how I've been enjoying it so far in Sunbreak. So if you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your main weapon? What have you been running with in Sunbreak? How are you liking the new moves? And of course don't forget to keep it locked. I will be going into much greater detail in a sort of Sword and Shield guide at some point soon. Not a full workshop, but a sort of a tips and tricks kind of thing. So do keep it locked if you want to know more. But today I just want to talk about things top level. So first things first, honestly, I feel like this is probably the best Sword and Shield has ever felt. Every single time a new Monster Hunter game comes around, they add in some new things, they change some things, move things around. I loved Sword and Shield in World and in Iceborne, especially when they introduced things like the Perfect Rush combo. Those were super satisfying. Then of course Rise came around, they added some new things in, we got some new Silkbind moves, and of course we got something like the Metsu, which of course is incredible, but in Sunbreak this thing got even better. I've already done a video talking about Shield Bash, but again, to reiterate, Shield Bash is probably my favourite thing in Sunbreak. It is so much fun. Some people will take a look at some gameplay and be like, it's kind of basic. You just pull yourself forward with your shield up. When you compare that to something like, I don't know, Switch Axe doing an insane counter and it's just like blowing up all over the screen, yeah, sure, maybe. But the speed at which you are able to dash in and out of combat, the speed at which you are able to just apply stun to monsters, honestly, this thing, even if you're not running with Slugger, you're still going to be seeing KOs left, right and centre with a combination of Shield Bash and Metsu Shoryugeki. So this already is fantastic. I love this move. It is probably my most used Silkbind move. I'm always on the scroll that has this because I just never want to be in a position where I do not have access to this because it is just so awesome. That being said, outside of that, we do also have the Destroyer Oil, which I honestly was really happy to see back. When they announced Destroyer Oil, I was of course super excited for that because I loved oils back in Generations. I will say, interestingly, given that we do have the Shield Bash move, Destroyer Oil for me personally doesn't get used as much. It is by default on my second scroll. I have it accessible at all times, but I find myself a lot of the time forgetting to refresh the buff. Whenever I think about it, I'll apply it because naturally having Destroyer Oil gives you the ability to flinch monsters better, different things like that. It's not a damage boost, it is of course just a chance to flinch and other things like that. So it is definitely useful, has some great utility, but what I've often found is that using things like Shield Bash, a lot of the time, even if I forget about Destroyer Oil, I'm still breaking parts, I'm still flinching monsters, I'm still doing all the kind of stuff that I want to. So in some regards, I feel like Destroyer Oil gets a little bit overlooked as a result. Not to say it's not great, but I almost kind of feel like it would have been nice if maybe Destroyer Oil took a form whereby it had different properties. Maybe it's one of those things whereby you activate the oil on your weapon and then maybe it amplifies whatever is on your weapon, whether it be like raw damage, whether it be a status, something like that. I'm not entirely sure how they would change it, but I do feel like in its current form, while it's definitely useful, and if you do, remember to apply it all the time, it's never going to do any harm, but I do feel like having access to some of the other stuff has almost sort of overshadowed it. So I do like Destroyer Oil, and again, I do try to apply it wherever I remember, but I will definitely put my hand up and be honest that I do often find myself forgetting that it has worn off, and then haven't always reapplied it as efficiently as I should. Ideally, given that it's a flat buff, you should just make sure you try and maximize uptime on it, so anytime it drops, you then pick it back up, but that's just something to think about. However, the new Twin Blade combo is fantastic. If you guys have not used this, then this replaces the bog standard Sword and Shield triangle combo, which used to be pretty lackluster. As a reminder, it was this one which invariably ended in that rather slow animation, and if you guys played previous Monster Hunter games, you'll know your typical combo would involve skipping that last hit and then going into your A attack. So you go X, X, A, and then A. If you then did the last hit of the X attack, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty slow and doesn't really have great damage. Speaking of damage, the new Twin Blade combo is just a straight up upgrade. You can of course see that you hit for the total damage of 247 on 4 hits. Meanwhile, the new combo hits for much higher. However, damage aside, this final thing just hits really nicely, it's a lot faster, and given that of course you do get 4 hits, even though it is 3 button inputs, it's also great for elemental and status. Furthermore, this opens up the opportunity for infinite combos. If you guys remember back in World and Iceborne, we had the ability to basically rotate at a moment's notice, and in Rise that thing was gone. However, they've now introduced it because in the final hit, the Twin Blade combo, this you can actually use to reposition. You can go XX and then spin around. And this, of course, naturally then opens up infinite combo potential, because you can then work this in with your heavy hitting combos, pressing A twice, and you can then go back into the twin blade combo. This then opens up a lot of infinite potential, because following the second hit, you can go back into twin blade, and you can then repeat the process. And then, of course, from an elemental point of view, that is very tasty, because you can keep these attacks going, which is really, really nice. Furthermore, this also synergized very nicely with the drill thrust move, which was also a fantastic addition in Rise. It got a little bit overshadowed because, of course, the hard basher combo was just so damn good. But if you are trying to lead into elemental or status, this is also a very nice way to proc status and element. So, all in all, it is a fantastic weapon. Again, there are lots more things to talk about, lots more combos to work in, but largely speaking, those are my top level first impressions from my time going hands-on. The fantastic new X combo definitely took some getting used to, just simply because my mental muscle memory is so used to leaving out that third X attack, but now that that is a fantastic new move, the Twin Blade, then you do of course need to make some mental adjustments, but that combo paired with the Shield Bash at least are just game changers, plus Destroy Oil is still a welcome addition. Anyway, that's it for the time being. Few little first impressions on Sword and Shield. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think if you've been using this weapon. Let me know what you would like to know. If you guys have missed any of our recent videos, stay tuned for plenty more and keep it locked on the channel.